there's no getting around life eats life. Even the various factions of people on the left and the right, and people that are animal rights activists versus people that are butchers, you're all eating something that's alive. I mean, you can make the distinction that the plants aren't suffering like the animals do, and that's why it's okay.
Sure.
And I agree with you for the most part. It's probably a less extreme form of suffering, but it also might just be a completely misunderstood life form.
Yeah.
Like they're finding out so much about plant communication, and I've read so many things about that. I hesitate to talk about it because I really want to have all my T's sliced and, I's dotted, because it's such a complex issue. But it appears that they communicate. It appears that there's almost like that they're using the soil and the fungus in the soil and the mycelium. Yeah. They all have this weird ecosystem. It's not just like one plant by itself in the dirt.
Yes.
No, there's a network that they're connected to.
Jamie, there's this thing this guy gave me this thing called a MIDI sprout, which is, it picks up, I guess, the bioelectricity of plants, or anything for that matter, but plants. I've got it. You stick it on your plant, and it goes into like whatever your music system is, and it translates it into MIDI, so you can turn the electricity of your plant into music.
What?
Yeah, it's fucking cool. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That sound is the sound that's coming from a tree.
Well, it's the electricity of the tree being translated into MIDI, which is then being translated into sound. So it's a way to convert the data into music. It's like you're converting the bioelectricity into, it's not like that's the sound of a plant. It's not making celestial noises. That's just sending energy and creating MIDI, which is then being translated into sound. So it's a way to observe the data. Instead of looking at it, I guess, on an oscilloscope or whatever you would look at that with, it's turning it into audio. So you can hear the pulsating kind of like rhythmic flow.
So that's measuring electrical currents in the plant?
That's it.
So there's that much of a variation that it's like going up and down all the time like that?
Yeah. It I mean, I don't know the total math behind it, but I've got one on my on a plan in my studio.
Here's my take on it. The most potent psychedelic experience is DMT. DMT exists in so many different plants. It's in thousands of plants. They have no idea why.
Yeah.
But it's in them, and if it wasn't for monoamines oxidase, right? Monoamine oxidase, MAO, which is what MAO inhibitors are. If it wasn't for that we have this in our body, we would be tripping on salad. You'd be tripping on grass. You'd eat certain grasses. You'd be blasted off to the center of the universe.
Fuck.
For some sheep, DMT is poison. Like, they get a hold of plants that have DMT in, they fall over, stiff as the legs, and the legs start bucking up in the air.
That's like your canary in the coal mine. You take sheep out into the nature, and when they start dying, that's what you eat.
I think it's phalaris grass in particular. I think there's a type of grass. Jamie, see if you could find that. Grass that kills sheep. But it's a grass that particularly rich. Yeah, phalaris. Damn, how good's the memory on the kid, even though he's high.
Phalaris staggers.
Yeah. That induce phalaris staggers in sheep. Portions of the lower brain as seen to be damaged and oddly enough tinted blue. The responsible agents are the alkaloids contained in the various phaline species. There are whispered rumors that
There are whispered fucking rumors.
That's a DMT website too. Whispered rumors. These goddamn hippies.
Whispered.
Looking for science, not looking for whispers.
Whispered rumors.
Fucking hippies. The Divine Moment of Truth. Is that the one that I'm in? There's one of those Spangle made one where they used a rant of me with Jim Brewer.
That's cool.
I was barbecued. I barely remember what I said, but as me and Brewer were high on pot lollipops.
Oh, Jesus.
And they took that and took part of it and made it this really dope music, and with a video to it. I don't know if that's their video, if they made that video,
looks
but whoever
great.
does, it looks oddly similar. Like a toned down, like a pencil drawing of what you see when you do DMT.
Yeah,
right?
man.
Yeah, it's a sound.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
The good old days, huh, Joe? Weren't those the good old days? Now we don't do it anymore, though, because it's illegal.
Yeah, why would we?
Well, it's illegal. There's no need. And also, once you've been there, it's not like you have to keep going back. Just once
enough's
is totally
enough.
Enough's enough. Well, I don't need these fucking aliens. It's
you know what I need to do right now? Get a better accountant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
These tax breaks are coming, and I'm not even seeing them.
There's some fucking great accountants in the DMT realm. That's when I'll start doing it again.
They're accountants of your consciousness. They look at you and go,
no. It's the best. Yeah, that's pretty.
That to you?
Did you get a finger waggle at you?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, no. And it was like when I had a wacky thought, like I had a bad thought, a thought went away, and I was on the wrong page. It was like,
oh, that's cool. Yeah, I love that. I love in different psychedelic states, I love how you witness how your consciousness is forming your reality in the most extreme way.
Yeah.
Not as though like you're producing matter with your thoughts or anything like that, but you can watch this undulation or this flow going from when you're getting negative and dark. And it's interesting how different psychedelics portray this phenomena. But so like on acid, I might see, depending if I'm taking a high enough dose, you start seeing like the faces and the stucco of your ceiling, and it's like when you start getting really depressive or scared, then the faces start doing like hissing at you, and they sink in, and or even when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, similar things happens as you're just watching the way that your projection that's coming from the incessant flow of thoughts in your mind is reflecting onto reality itself, and it's a constant like shifting of light that sometimes is like looking into the deepest layers of hell, but then sometimes you see the most beautiful, sweet, incredible things because you're not being freaked out by the flow of thoughts in your mind. That's the number one trick. This is why now in my old age I really do understand why a good practice, meditation, chanting, whatever it may be, pairs so nicely with psychedelics. Because if you have one without the other, well, you're missing out. But also, you can really like go into some pretty terrifying places that don't resolve in the way that they could potentially if you are doing the work, putting in the time before you take the psychedelic, Not to sound like an old fucking guy, like, you gotta do, meditate and then take, but it does help a lot.
Well, there's a weird way that we want to dismiss it because it seems almost like a pompous thing to ever say you meditate or you encourage people to meditate.
Yeah.
It's like the same as I always have a cringy thing when I tell people to do yoga. Like, oh my God, I'm going to say this again. But I really mean it. Like, I feel like yoga is one of the very best things that'll pair with cannabis use and with psychedelics.
Sure.
Because I think it alleviates a lot. Another thing that's really good is running. And I think both those things, they alleviate a certain amount of anxiety. And they create, there's a blood flow through that.
Yes.
Like when you're like pumping hard up a hill and you're running, huffing and puffing, and you make it, and you check your pulse, and you recover quick, and you go and do another hill run. There's a stimulation of your body because it's being forced to work hard that's euphoric. And after it's over, your brain's flooded with all these wonderful chemicals. You feel good, you feel friendly, and like I think that paired with psychedelic experiences, I think exercise is one of the most overlooked. So important. And it doesn't matter what style, like what you enjoy doing, but just got to get that blood going. You got to do something. Whether it's take a spin class or a yoga class or go for a good hike. Do something where you're fucking huffing and puffing and you're really getting in some work. You're really sweating and your body will just feel better.
Well, this is what you just said exactly applies to meditation. And also, you're fucking right. The problem with even talking about it is you sound virtue signally and pompous, and but
it's true.
And when you hear Ram Dass talk about meditation, he will say, don't meditate when you want to meditate. Like, don't even, like, if it seems like something that appeals to you, give it a shot. But the definition of it itself, what's funny is when you think about meditation, your mind will summon up something that you think meditation looks like. So you think, it means like sitting down on a cushion with some fucking candles, or it means like whatever it is that your mind summons up. And usually it's pretty austere, and usually it requires like a temple or a space in your house, or it's insane.
An outfit. You gotta put an outfit on.
You need a robe. Exactly.
Yeah.
You need some kind of like shit that you're wearing. So there's, right. Because your mind is trying to push it off. It's trying to like, your mind, it is as one of its functions, it seems to like not want you to sit still for a moment and watch. But what you just said about exercising is true for meditation. It's like there's so many different versions of it. And I would argue running is a meditation. Working out is a meditation.
Yeah.
And that to think that there's a separation, there really isn't.
No, I don't think there is either. I always just said that about martial arts, that I believe that martial arts were a moving form of meditation. But that doesn't mean like stationary meditation isn't different and give you another very valuable thing and a different valuable thing.
That's right. Yeah. Well, it gives you the ability to. I was just reading. There's a great book I'm reading by Pema Chodron called "The Wisdom of No Escape," and she talks about how when people start meditating, they think, "I'm doing this because I want to be a better person." And she said, that's actually an aggression against the self that you are right now. To be like,
ooh,
yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that you're actually being like aggressive to your own self. She said, meditation is not so that we become a better person. It's so that we're able to be who we are in the moment fully. And to begin to experience fully what it is that's happening inside of us. Because for a lot of people, what's going down is that there is dude, this reminds me, I just watched the Texas fucking Chainsaw Massacre. It's probably like the 16th time I've seen it, but like I watched it and like, man, I had a very strong mint tea, and like I was watching it and was like, oh my God, this is fucking unbearable. Like, I can't deal with it. I'm going to go crazy watching this fucking thing. Like, the woman who by the end is all bug-eyed and covered in blood and like she's lost her mind because these Texas fucking cannibals have like driven her insane. I'm feeling like that. But then I realized like, oh my God, that woman running from Leatherface and the whole family freaking out and screaming, how many people are secretly that woman inside of themselves constantly running in terror from parts of themselves that they can't deal with or acknowledge or look at. And so meditation is kind of like going into yourself, to that creepy fucking ranch house in the middle of nowhere in your heart, and then exploring the places that you don't want to go into.
Cleaning them up.
You know what, man? It's feeling them. It's instead of cleaning or fixing or repairing, it's going in there and feeling the whatever it is. For a lot of people, it's just grief, pain, sorrow, regret. You know, and it's going in there and not being like, I'm going to fix what I fucked up 7 years ago because this is not time travel. But what I'm going to do is for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, I'm going to let myself feel this thing that I've been trying not to feel by distracting myself with an incessant flow of thoughts.
Right.
And that is when you start lightening up a little bit, because really all you got to do is feel. I think the MAPS people say, feeling is healing. Have you ever heard that?
No, but I think I have. But I think it was like a kid show.
That's a great kids show.
Kids shows say some good shit sometimes.
Fuck yeah,
man.
they do, man.
Some of them are on the ball.
Yeah. You
know, there's some kids movies that are oddly psychedelic.
Dude, are you kidding? Like, kids are psychedelic. Like, to appeal to a child, it's like you do have to create some crazy shit. You know, like what kids show isn't? Find me a kids show that isn't the most psychedelic thing, including Mr. Rogers. Like, Mr. Rogers is like, that's some trippy shit going down there, man. Well, trippy.
It's funny that you bring up Mr. Rogers, because here's one of the things that I was going to say when we were talking about gun control and violence and all the different issues in this world. One thing that we don't concentrate on is promoting being nicer.
Yeah.
Like, no government official does that. Presidents don't do that. Yeah. They don't get on TV. They sort of say it. We need to work together. But they don't ever say, folks, we just got to figure out how to be nice to each other.
That's right.
Like, we're not in conflict anymore, but we're designed for conflict. And here's how you get rid of that. get a fucking heavy bag, go run hills, go to yoga class, eat better, stop drinking so much coffee or alcohol or sugar, whatever your vice is that's fucking with your body.
Yeah.
Get your body in order and get your mind in order and just be nicer to each other.
Yeah.
That would fix almost everything. If people just overall decided, you know what, male, female, whatever the fuck, whoever you're talking to, let's just be nicer to each other.
Yeah.
Let's just everybody do this. Can we all just work on this? No one's saying work on this. Like, there's no government officials. There's no big State of the Union address and go, ladies and gentlemen, our problems that we have with each other are ridiculous. We're family here.
Yeah.
We're brothers and sisters.
Yes.
And we're all immigrants. Every single one of us is an immigrant. I'm not saying we should let everybody in, but whoever's here, you made it, bitch. You made it. As long as you're not a goddamn criminal, you made it. Whoa, but it's sucking off the tax dollars and get taxes from them.
Also, don't forget we're all immigrants coming from infinity, too.
Exactly.
We're all immigrants who've come into this dimension and have complete amnesia as to what was going on for the last 13
Pop out of a vagina. Boink.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're American?
Yeah, that's it. So we're all immigrants. And I...
Did you hear about this? I'm sorry to interrupt you,
No.
but I have to tell you this. Did you hear about this Canadian couple? There's a gay couple that had twins, and they did it through a surrogate. And they mixed up their jizz so that no one knew which, whose jizz was whose. Well, one guy's an American citizen and one guy's not.
Yeah.
So the kids were born, and they did a DNA test on the kids because they wanted to find out whether or not one of those kids was a dirty Canadian.
Yeah.
Turns out one of them is.
Yeah.
Trying to sneak over our borders at 1 day old. Fuck off. Yeah. So they sent that little fucking terrorist back to Canada.
Yeah.
Gay couple married in Canada sues U.S. government for denying citizenship to the child. Hey, assholes, let these fucking people come back. Jesus Christ.
But you got to understand, man, like, people like Jeff Sessions see a picture like that, and they feel like they're looking at somebody taking a dump on a crucifix. Like, for a lot of these people, they can't handle the idea of gay people having kids. It's not like they're worried about citizenship. It's like a lot of these gnarled fucks who are running things, they're terrified of gay people.
Yeah.
I'm sure that whoever made that decision, it wasn't anything to do with like, oh, this is citizenship laws. It was like, hey, man, we're not going to have this futuristic shit where we're doing some kind of jizz combos here. We're not doing jizz combos in my country.
I think they just use like one of those little
paintbrush,
those things you stir with. Like if you want to make a butter coffee, hit the little blender.
You mean a whisk, an electric whisk,
an electric
like you use
whisk.
for batter?
That's what they do. They jizz into like a mixing jug.
No, they use like smoothie machines, man. They just.
Are you sure?
Positive.
A buddy of mine was telling me today about he was in Berlin, and when he went to there's this club, and they had 3 different floors of this club. Like one floor was like a hardcore like punk scene or electronic scene or something like that. And then below it was a hardcore gay club.
Heard of this club.
In this hardcore gay club, they would have shit night where they would shit into Tupperware and seal it up and bring it in there. They would jizz all over the stage, and they would dive on the jizz like a slip and slide around on each other's jizz. They'd piss on each other. And this is just...
Well, wait, I get the jizz and the piss.
Do you?
But help me understand the Tupperware shit thing. Like,
the problem is I opened up with the Tupperware shit. I went too hard off the gate. I should have started with jizz on the deck.
Yeah.
And then they slip and slide. Then worked their way up to pissing on each other. And then these crazy motherfuckers started bringing in shit. That's what I should have done.
But what I don't understand is like they're like the slip and slide. It's like, it's like a fucking fun night. You're like enjoying like some physical fun with your pals. But like, why are you bringing in like shit in Tupperware? Like, what's the...
They're like smelling shit. They're like smelling each other's shit.
So you just like, hey, take a whiff of this great shit I had the other day.
Well, do you know how some guys like the smell of their woman's vagina? They want to get in there and smell it.
Yeah.
I wonder how much that is connected because that's where you put your dick. I wonder if you put your dick in butts all the time, you'd be like, I want to smell your shit.
Oh, like it's associated with like, it reminds you of fucking or something.
Mike, this is what I want you to do. I want you to shit in a Tupperware and bring it over. Are you serious? I want you to shit in that thing and bring it over and don't wipe your ass.
Tupperware, like why not foil?
Who knows, man? I mean, you'd have to be really fucked up to want to smell someone's shit that bad.
Yeah, like
Smell each other's shit. Maybe it's just like a naughty thing. Like, we're being naughty. Smell my shit.
yeah, or I'm transporting shit. Like you're like I'm bringing shit somewhere. Like I'm bringing a lunch to this place. It's, by the way, I've heard of this club, man. My friend was telling me about this club. I don't know if it's the same club. I think it is. So I've been hearing all this shit about how badass Berlin is, man. That it's just like crazy over there, and that this one club my friend was telling me she went to, everyone stands in line. There's no VIPs. Everyone stands in line. Like, part of the experience of the thing is you stand in line for like a long time, and there's one bouncer. He's giant. He's like this giant, scary German guy. I think he's got like a glass eye or something.
Oh, Jesus.
And he scans you. So you stand in front of him, and he looks at you and like does some kind of soul scan. And if he decides you're ready to experience the psychic effects of witnessing dudes sliding through cum, because for some people, because it's not as though he's trying to like, he's obviously trying to keep it cool in there,
right?
But he's also trying to keep people from losing their minds, because like the one wrong person goes into the sub basement and sees a bunch of people huffing Tupperware shit and doing like, you know what I mean, and sliding through jizz. That could be that could push you over the line. That could lead you straight to fucking mail bomb land. You could just end up in a cabin building devices of destruction. That's probably what happened to Kaczynski.
If you